it going, transportation family? Welcome to another episode of What Can My NEMT CRM Do For Me? This is again episode 2 where we do a deep dive into the NEMT CRM, and today we're going to really focus on voice AI, right? It's a really hot topic in the industry. A lot of people are kind of guessing, like, does this work? Can it actually work for my clients? Can I implement this in my business pretty easily? And today we're going to show you how we implement voice AI inside of NEMT CRM. I'm going to try my best to give you my unbiased opinion, the good, the bad, the ugly, what things you need to kind of think about it before you implement it into your business. And then we're going to show you some real life examples. We're going to test out some voices. We're going to show you how we set it up. Just going to give you the full breakdown of voice AI in terms of medical transportation. First off, this is our NEMT CRM website. So if you're new to our channel, new to our product, this is essentially a one-stop shop platform for your entire NEMT business. On our website, which is newly designed here in the last month or so, but there is a very special section that we added here for conversation and voice AI. Just to let people know, voice AI is fully implemented into our platform, into our CRM, so it's automatically built in. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's already there. I know there's some third-party platforms that are just voice AI, but if you have the CRM, essentially you don't have another subscription that you need to get in order to bring on this technology into your business. So to make this episode interactive, I really want to just dive into voice AI, how it's set up, how it looks, and then we can kind of just have an honest opinion about how it works within the industry and how can it work within your business. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we are inside of the Transport CRM product. If you have already subscribed to this product, this looks pretty familiar to you. If you haven't, inside of the CRM platform, there's a lot of different options you can choose from the left-hand navigation panel. But the one we're going to jump in today is the AI agents panel. So AI agents, there's a lot of stuff going on with AI today, right? So there's voice AI, there's conversation AI, there's AI agents. We'll create other episodes for each one of those, but today we're just going to hop directly into voice AI. So if we click on the voice AI panel, we essentially come to a page where it's actually showing us kind of a dashboard of total calls, how many actions have been triggered off of the AI, voice AI overall, and what the sentiment has been, which is very important for you to kind of understand if people are having a negative or a positive experience with your particular voice AI. But we have one pre-built that we're going to show for this example. So inside of this example, we'll just take this agent that we built named Marie. So this is how we essentially set up the entire voice AI agent. So name, business name, what language you want them to speak, the voice, which is very important. So if we were to actually click into voice, it gives us a lot of different options on gender, what type of accents we want the voice AI to have. So for this example, we'll just kind of fluctuate between both male and female. So let's try to get an idea of how these sound. Let's just click Hyperreal Jerry B. Let's see what Jerry B has to say.
This voice model is perfect for capturing the essence of a hyper-real conversational feel.
Okay, pretty good. Actually, let's move this to American, so we're looking at American accents. Let's try
Jackson not only sounds great.
I don't think that one's good. I don't want to have that deep voice picking up the phone.
Anyone who takes the time to listen is either...
Okay, so the accents are pretty spot on. There's a lot of variety of voices you can use. I've seen most people choose the female voice in terms of picking up the phone. Just sounds a little bit more friendly, but you do have some options there. This one is based on Chelsea, so...
Hi, it's Chelsea. I know you just landed. And I know.
So that's how she sounds. There's also New York accents as well.
The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something.
Right, so you have a lot of different options pretty much across. There's actually more female voices than there are. We click through these and kind of figure out what fits the business.
Find a comfortable place.
And then pick one option that kind of makes sense. Let me move this video out of the way here. Okay, so we are assuming that we have selected Chelsea. We like how Chelsea's voice sounds. And then we can start to choose these different models. You guys don't have to worry about the pricing because all that's already baked in. But there are a lot of different ChatGPT, Claude, those different models that you can choose from in order to help understand how the voice AI processes the logic, right? It's recommended to stay on ChatGPT 4.0 because that's the kind of highest quality one that for the biggest bang for your buck. But you have some flexibility there as well. So inside, let me make myself smaller. Perfect. All right, so we got the name, we got the voice that we want. This initial message is what happens when she picks up, right? She'll say, blank medical transportation. This is Marie speaking. How can I help you, right? So that's the introductory message. But before we get there, there's a lot of stuff we need to set up in the background, right? There's agent goals. We need to talk about when we want her to pick up, and then there's the dashboard where we can actually view live log, a live recording, live transcript of the actual conversation. So under the agent's goals, these are pre-populated already, so you don't have to touch it. We're literally just putting this and implementing this voice AI agent into your business. But I want to give you an idea of what all her goals are. So her goals are to generally collect the information from the rider that they need, right? If they're trying to coordinate a trip, it's collecting the origin address, destination address, whether they need special needs, whether it's wheelchair, stretcher, whether it's a one-way or round trip. And then essentially she is collecting those details and letting the rider know that somebody will contact them directly with a price and a ride and a trip plan, right? So we want to make sure that you guys are aware, like the voice AI isn't giving out prices over the phone. It's literally just collecting the information and letting somebody know that somebody's going to follow up with them via email or via phone to provide them a quote, which is, I think, is the best practice, because right now that logic really isn't super customized or super accurate when it comes to calculating what your mileage rate is, what your additional trip fees are. So you want to make sure you're not giving out too much pricing information over the phone with the voice AI. You just want it to really act as a conduit between the call and the person who's going to follow with them with the information that they provided. So we're going to do a live test in a minute, but here is pretty much all of the logic that we've built into this. The other part of this is important, is to understand a knowledge base. So when we create a voice AI agent, you have to understand, like, okay, how does the voice AI know about my business? Like, how does it know who it's representing? How does it collect all the frequently asked questions from my website, right? So this knowledge base is essentially what we set up. So inside of here, we are crawling your website, pulling all the information from your website into the knowledge base. We're creating frequently asked questions, and we're customizing those frequently asked questions to your responses, right? So now when the voice AI goes to answer a question like, do you accept Medicare or Medicaid? That's already covered in your frequently asked questions. It knows how to respond to that. And it's not responding it like verbatim. It's just taking that answer and formulating a response based on the knowledge base. So there's a lot of different things we can capture in here, from file uploads, web crawler, which is the most important. It's taking the information from your website and making sure that the voice AI knows your business. So now it's representing you as essentially as an employee. So that's how we build the knowledge base. And then let's look at a couple other things. Let's talk about phone and availability, right? So I'll give you my honest opinion. So with voice AI, because of the dynamics of the NEMT industry, most of the time, or a lot of the time, you're dealing with people who are elderly, or you're dealing with a younger generation who are actually coordinating the rides for their loved ones. So my opinion, I personally would not have voice AI handle every single phone call. Where I've seen it really, really shine is when it's either picking up the phone after hours, or if using it as a last resort, nobody was able to pick up the phone. Now we're going to route those calls to the voice AI to kind of take that message versus having a voicemail, right? So instead of sending people to voicemail, you're sending people to the voice AI, right? So they have the option of whether or not they want to hang up or call back, when somebody's available. So in my opinion, that's how it's best to use or best managed within the NEMT industry. But of course, you'll implement these voice AI technology, and you'll have to decide where does it fit best. The other thing to really pay attention to is the phone number. So inside of our platform, we cannot import your existing phone number and have voice AI answer on that existing phone number. Essentially, we get you a phone number, and it's essentially a after hours number. So if anybody calls that number, that is a specific number that you have to post on your website for after hours. The alternative to that is that you can actually have, so if you guys have CallRail or any of those other phone systems that are outside the platform, you could also have that number forward during certain hours, or if you can't pick up the call, you actually route that to another number. So now so there's a lot of different options you can do with that in terms of a phone system. But I think having it pick up when somebody can't answer the phone, or even after hours, that's generally when people expect, hey, I'm calling at 3 a.m. Obviously, I may or may not reach a real person. So having an after hours or voice AI pickup would be sort of kind of an expectation if somebody's calling at after hours, but that's just my opinion. But I think it works well a lot of different ways, and you'll have your honest opinion when we do a full test here in a second. So the way we set up the phone availability is that we can enable the AI agent as a backup. to a phone number that we have. We can set working hours. So again, that is based on, hey, somebody's calling at 2 a.m. I want to make sure that they don't reach a person, they reach the voice AI. And the other part of this is that we can actually have a human transfer, which is very, very important. So, because we know people get frustrated sometimes with voice AI, so they're like, hey, I just want to get to a real person. So we actually have a call transfer in here that we just named it human transfer. And this is going to take place whenever the caller asks to speak to a human, a manager, customer service, something like that. So we're actually going to route these to another number. And then that person, if it's after hours, they may or may not pick up, but it allows the user to have options on who they want to talk to, or if they even want to talk to the voice AI. All right, so, and we do that under the agent goals when we set up that human transfer. And then there's an actual after the call piece of it that makes sure that after the phone call is completed, we're actually emailing the transcript of that call to whoever needs to follow up with that particular client. You can do that to custom emails or users multiple users who are on your account. All right, so phone availability, we got the working hours set. Let's see if there's a dashboard. So dashboard and logs is more so to say, hey, whenever a inbound call comes in, I'm able to track all of those calls completed, actions that have been triggered from that call, whether it's a human transfer, you'll be able to track, how many people have said they want to go to human transfer, right? And then in sentiment, as I mentioned before, using this to kind of understand like how people are reacting to it is important, because if your sentiment is negative, I would probably, in your particular market area, I would probably say, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Or you need to switch your strategy in terms of when you're having it, answer those phone calls. But you're able to track all those metrics here. Duration, average duration. This comes into play over time. So you're able to actually see, hey, if my average call duration is, 2 or 3 minutes, how much actual money or time are you saving, like from your hiring a full-time employee, or even taking that time away from your full-time employees for them to do something else other than answer sales calls. And then you also have, once this actually populates with data, you're able to see the duration, the contact, what number it came from. You'll also be able to view the transcript from inside the platform as well. So we've probably done enough talking. Let's test this out, and then I'm just going to give it some dummy information, and let's see how well it responds to some of my questions. All right. And this is live, so if it messes up, it messes up. I just wanted to give you the clean and the real deal of how it interacts. So let's do a test.
Sage Medical Transportation, this is Marie speaking. How can I help you?
Hey Marie, I want to set up transportation for tomorrow.
Sure thing. Let's get that set up for you. Can I start by getting your full name?
Yeah, my name is Harry Chambers. My name is Harry Chambers.
Thanks, Harry. Got it. Now, can you tell me the pickup address, including the city and state?
Sure, 123 Test Road, New York, 35208.
All right, so that's 123 Test Road, New York, 35208. Got it. And where will you be heading to? Could you share the destination address, including the city and state?
Yeah, sure. I want to go to 3251 Test Boulevard, New York, 35208.
Got it. So you're heading to 3251 Test Boulevard, New York, 35208.
Yes.
Now, is this a one-way trip or will you need a round trip?
Do a round trip for me, please.
All right, a round trip it is. Will the passenger need wheelchair transportation or are there no mobility issues?
They'll actually will need a wheelchair.
Thanks for letting me know. And just to confirm, this is for tomorrow, April 18th, 2026. Is there a specific time you'd like the pickup to be?
9 a.m., please.
All right, so the pickup is scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow, April 18th, 2026. Lastly, is the best number to reach you the one you're calling from, or would you prefer a different callback number?
This number's fine.
Perfect. So to recap, passenger Harry Chambers pickup, 123 Test Road, New York, 35208 destination, 3251 Test Boulevard, New York, 35208 round trip with wheelchair transportation. Pickup time, 9 a.m. tomorrow, April 18th, 2026.
Wait, how much
Callback number.
does the trip cost?
We don't provide pricing over the phone, but a trip coordinator will follow up with you soon to provide a quote and finalize the ride details. If you'd like, you can also fill out the Book a Ride form on our website for a quicker response.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Harry. Thanks for calling Sage Medical Transportation. A trip coordinator will be in touch soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. So not bad at all. And then as you think about like what type of voice you want to pick up on the other end, I think a lot of that you can customize. I like the background noise, right? The background noise really gives a feel for it being like a call center or something like that. So you do know that you're essentially, it sounds like you're talking to a voice AI, but it does sound, there are some elements in that really sounds real, right? When I interrupt it, it stops to listen, right? Like a real person would. So I think the quality is really, really good. I mean, I put our technology up against, obviously I'm biased, but I put our technology up against a lot of different providers as well. And I think you guys will be able to come in here and, you know, give your own honest opinion. So if you have an opinion of how great it was or how bad it was, you know, drop it in the comments. We'll take that into consideration and try to fine tune it even more. But in here you have, obviously this one's not being recorded, but you have the transcript of everything that was talked about on the call in here, which will be emailed to the person that you have set for like your agent goals as well. And there's a summary. It just kind of gives like all the details. So if I'm using this after hours or when somebody can't answer the phone, I mean, essentially it's doing its job. It's collecting the information about what you want, what the caller is asking or calling in for. And then you have this dashboard that kind of logs all that information for you, being able to, obviously this was a test, so you know it's not capturing the details, but you'll be able to see all that information tracked directly in the platform through the test. So I think it's great. I think it's really good if you use it wisely, if you use it in places or in spots in the business where you're really lacking some of that customer support. I think this is a really, really great option for you. If you guys have questions, reach out to us directly. We can show you some additional testing, show you some additional options. Again, I just wanted this episode 2 to be a real quick live, right? Important to do things live because I know some of these other voice AI agents, you'll see people pause and try to like stitch stuff together. I want to just have you guys listen to the call and really formulate your own opinion about, is this useful for NEMT? Can I use it in my business? Again, this has been What Can My NEMT CRM Do For Me, episode 2. If you have questions,